Who knows someone with Alzheimer's disease? Jelena, thank you. Richard Nelson, my grandpa, is a very strong person in my life who I admire. He was a policeman in the Korean War, the only one of his 10 siblings to graduate from high school, go on to college, and further go on to get his master's degree. He was a coach, a high school teacher, and a traveler, all traits that I look up to and greatly admire. But back to the first question. It is important to know that my grandpa is in the final stages of Alzheimer's disease. Even though he has this debilitating disease, he is still able to teach me life lessons through the stories that my family tells me about his past. The 3 most important lessons that I have learned double as my 3 main points: gratitude, perspective, and the importance of music. To further explain the lessons, I called my mom and grandma to try and help me find some stories to accompany them. So the first lesson is gratitude. Gratitude is basically being thankful and appreciative, and having a loved one with Alzheimer's really teaches you to appreciate every single little thing. I always thought I placed a lot of value on the little things until my grandpa's Alzheimer's started to progress, and I realized I couldn't have been more wrong. Alzheimer's is basically the slow death of the mind. You start with forgetting little things like where you put your keys, where you park your car, and move up to bigger things like forgetting where you live, who you are, who your family members are. So like I said, I used to take things for granted. I took for granted my grandpa knowing my name until he started to call me by my sisters and eventually forgot altogether. Along with learning things by default of the disease, my grandpa taught me a lot of lessons on purpose, the second being the weight a good perspective can hold. Perspective breaks down into 2 different sections. First example is about the Korean War, and the second one is about the insanity of materialism. So like I said, my grandpa was a military policeman in the Korean War, so he spent 2 years in Korea. And during the coldest winter, he always tells my mom that he had his family send coats and things, coats and mittens and hats to give to the kids in the streets that didn't have any. And I don't know about you guys, but when I ask my parents to send me care packages, it is nothing for other people. So I just think that really shows you what he was thinking about when he was away. He also liked to buy the kids popcorn from the PX, and that was another thing he liked to do. The PX is like the military store where things are a little bit cheaper. The second part of perspective explains the insanity of materialism. My mom always tells me that she had to get the hand-me-down basketball shoes from her older sister. My mom and her older sister were both on the basketball team, and my grandpa was the coach. My mom always complained that she didn't get to have the brand new shoes, the name brand shoes, the most popular shoes, and she always just got the hand-me-downs. My grandpa always told her that material things are petty. You decide how you play basketball, not your shoes. The shoes that you have don't dictate how much practice you do or anything else. And when you die, you can't take anything with you. So a healthy perspective is necessary in life, and the only objects my grandpa truly valued were his musical instruments. Which brings us to the final lesson, the importance of music. You have to have music in your life, my grandpa always said. He played 4 instruments, the harmonica, the guitar, the accordion, and the piano. Out of everything and everyone he has forgotten, he can still play harmony and sing to the music. When I went to visit him before school started, I tried to get him to play harmonica, and at first he thought it was a binocular, but eventually, after I showed him how to play it, he picked right up and started playing songs again just like he had never forgotten. This is why he really instilled how important music was in each of our lives and why each one of the members of my family plays an instrument or 2. Alzheimer's patients retain the ability to move with the beat until very late in the disease. I always found it incredibly lucky that something my grandpa was so passionate about was something he was still able to hold on to even so late in the disease process. When he had forgotten everything else, he still remembers music. In conclusion, today I talked to you about gratitude, the value of a good perspective, and the importance of having music in your life. My grandpa is someone who will continue to teach lessons throughout his life, even though he can't always do it through example. Family and friends of my grandpa will continue to pass down his lessons, and I intend to as well.